Last week current affairs, the very important, the most important current affairs we will discuss today. Okay. The first topic is Black Sea Grain Initiative. Prelims point of view, Black Sea Grain Initiative. One thing we have to understand, in this particular map, this is God blessed land. This particular area is God blessed area, because abundant availability of fertilizers naturally, food crops, very good soil, fertile soil. This was a hub when USSR was there. This much big Russia is there, but this area is fertile. This area was pumping food to the USSR countries. 14 sovereign independent countries came. Once upon a time, the 14 independent countries like Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Armenia, Georgia, Azerbaijan, these all are independent countries which are now, once upon a time, they depended only on this particular area. That is the reason everyone will tell that when the intellectuals, if there is a conflict between these two, this is Russia, when there is conflict between both of them, who is a sufferer means this is a sufferer. Russia is having population, Russia is having money, Russia is having technology, but Russia is not having food crops. Russia is not having food grains. That is a very big problem for Russia. Russia is having oil, Russia is having mineral resources also, but the problem here is with respect to food crops. The production of food is very less when compared with Ukraine. Putin know that when we attack Ukraine, compulsory any country will stop. If we fight on our mother, compulsory what mother will not give food immediately. That is the only best punishment. So they also stopped giving food. So now the Russia came for a dialogue. Why? Because there is a war between you and me. Why the people should suffer? Because of food. So they came up with an agreement. That agreement is called as Black Sea Grain Initiative, which is brokered by Turkey, which is brokered by United Nations Organization, which is brokered by these two. One is international organization, another is Turkey, so that this part of the world should not suffer. These people should not suffer. For that particular process, there is an agreement or initiative happen, Black Sea Grain Initiative, whereby proper transfer of food grains can happen between Ukraine as well as Russia. That particular transfer or that particular trade of food grains from Ukraine to Russia is Black Sea Grain Initiative. Bordering countries compulsory, you have to remember: Romania, Bulgaria, Turkey, Russia. Crimea is now part of Russia. Ukraine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These are the 5 bordering countries of Black Sea. Second, snow leopard. Snow leopard, it is in the news. So what do you have to remember? You have to remember this: vulnerable. What status it got? It got a vulnerable status. What status it got? It got vulnerable status according to Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. Two things you have to remember for your prelims. See, Wildlife Protection Act 1972. This Wildlife Protection Act, for the first time, every act have some significance, every act have some function, every act have some purpose. The purpose is Wildlife Protection Act, protection of wildlife. How to protect? Schedule 1, Schedule 2, Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5. They made 5 schedules. In that, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 are very important. The animals, if they are present in Schedule 1 and Schedule 2, means they are branded as vulnerable or endangered or critically endangered or extinct. So if any animal is present under Schedule 1 or Schedule 2, only 2 schedules. Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5 are nothing. They are normally available animals. But Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 are endangered species, very near for endangered. The chance of becoming extinct is very high. They are placed under which schedule of Wildlife Protection Act? Two schedules, Schedule 1 and Schedule 2. So if any animal is placed under Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 of Wildlife Protection Act, means it is protected. It is protected. Killing of that animal will be having severe punishment when compared to killing of an animal of Schedule 3, Schedule 4, Schedule 5. The punishment for Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 is very high. Black bug. When Salman Khan killed black bug in 1990s, the black bug is Schedule 1 animal. So he got same, the punishment was very, very severe. So why it is in the news? It is in the news because in November 15th, snow leopard, which we believed that it became extinct, but suddenly appeared in Jammu and Kashmir, where Baltala Jojila region. In Baltala Jojila region, we found this snow leopard. So what is this snow leopard? Once upon a time, the snow leopard was present in Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, Himachal Pradesh regions. We used to found this snow leopard. Prelims point of view, snow leopard is what? Vulnerable. Under Wildlife Protection Act of, yes. So again it got reappeared. We should be very happy that the animals are reappearing. The animals are reappearing. We are not borrowing like how we borrowed cheetahs. Cheetahs we borrowed or reappeared. We borrowed it. We brought it from Namibia. But here it is appeared. Here it got appeared. So this is vulnerable status under Schedule 1 of Wildlife Protection Act of 1972. The snow leopard. Likewise, environment part. Environment, nearly 15 to 20 questions will be there. Why? Because Indian Forest Service and Civil Service examination is one test. What are the other animals which are again they are found? Like for example, Asiatic ibex, which are reappearing in Jammu and Kashmir, which we believed that it forgotten in India. Asiatic ibex, brown bear and Kashmir musk deer in the upper reaches of Jammu and Kashmir and Ladakh. Again we are seeing. So what are the animals which are in Schedule 1 of the Wildlife Protection Act, which we believed that it got disappeared from India, are reappearing? Snow leopard, Asiatic ibex, nothing, it will be like a deer only. Brown bear and Kashmir musk deer. So these are the 4 Schedule 1 vulnerable. These 3 are also vulnerable. Vulnerable, endangered, critically endangered, finally extinct. So vulnerable is the first stage where we have to focus more so that it will not become endangered, so that it will not become critically endangered, so extinct. So vulnerable means we have to be very careful. So what are the 4 animals of Jammu and Kashmir? Snow leopard, Asiatic ibex, brown bear and Kashmir musk deer. Prelims point of view. The animals which we believed are disappeared from Indian land are reappearing on the face of India in Jammu and Kashmir, Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, Ladakh. What are those? Snow leopard, Asiatic ibex, brown bear and population assessment in India. Leopard population assessment in India. This has found this snow leopard in India. Next, EWS quota. So very much in news. EWS quota. What is this EWS quota? Economically weaker sections. I will pinpoint what is the information. Understand it. According to the Supreme Court of India and the Constitution of India, both. According to Supreme Court of India and the Constitution of India, the reservations are provided mainly based upon socially and educationally backward criteria. Only 2 criteria will be there: socially backward, economically backward. According to 1992 Indra Sahani case, according to the original Constitution of India, which gave reservations for SCs and STs, the reservations need to be provided only if they are socially backward or educationally backward. Then what happened? 103 Constitutional Amendment Act was been made by Narendra Modi government in 2019, and it is passed in the Lok Sabha, it's passed in the Rajya Sabha, and it gave for the first time reservation based upon economical criteria, mainly based upon economical criteria. January 9th in the Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and finally a EWS economically weaker section reservations were being given. To whom? Not for socially backward, not for educationally backward, only those who are economically backward. means their social status is high, means they might belong to Brahmin class, they might belong to Kshatriya class, they might belong to Vaishya class. Their social status is high, their level in the hierarchy is high, but economically poor. Educationally good, 100% literate, but economically poor. So irrespective of social backwardness, irrespective of educational backwardness, they are given reservations. That particular reservation is called as economical weaker sections. Then it went to the Supreme Court, same month, when Jan 8th, Jan 9th, 2019, Jan 8th passed in the Lok Sabha, 2019, Jan 9th, 2019 passed in the Lok Sabha, Jan 12th, the Ministry of Law told that President gave the signature, hence EWS reservation is finalized. Immediately in the month of February, this Constitutional Amendment Act got challenged. How you people can give reservation on economical ground? Why? Because Constitution give reservations on what ground? Social background and educational background. Who gave you the power to give on economical background? That 2019, 2020, 2021, 2022, that judgment is out. So finally we came to a conclusion. In that 5 judges, 3 judges accepted EWS, 2 judges also accepted EWS. Understand this? 3:2 judgment, you know that. 3:2 judgment, it doesn't mean that 2 judges did not accept it. They accepted it, but they told that 3 judges told that yes, economy can be a criteria for providing reservations. Yes, we are accepting it, no problem. The 2 judges told, in 3:2 judgment, the 2 judges told, when you are giving reservations on economical backwardness, then why you didn't add SC? Then why you didn't add ST? Then why you didn't add OBC? That is the question. They accepted EWS. They told yes, reservation need to be provided. Then why only general category people? Exclusively you are giving reservations for general category. You add SC, you add ST. In that also they are suffering with, economical backwardness. Why you didn't added them? Means that 10% reservation only for which communities? General communities. Indirectly it is like a reservation only. If economically weaker section is there, then economically weaker section reservations, then you should give to SC, ST, OBCs also. That is what these 2 people told. But 3 people told that general category people are more suffering with economical backwardness, so they can continue with the reservation. Hence, EWS got judicial approval. That too by a constitutional bench consisting of 5 judges. Here one more question comes. For knowledge point of view, I will tell. When you read, you come across one point that, sir, Indra Sahani judgment told reservation should not come up more than 50%, no sir. So, but here 10% Supreme Court itself accepted. Now 50% reservation cap, 50% reservation cap which is put by Supreme Court, that reservation should not cross 50%. 50% should be reservation, 50% should be general category. Then now EWS reservation of 10% is crossing 50% of reservation. Now reservation crossed 50% and reservation became how much now? For example, SC 15%, ST 7.5%, OBC 27.5%, 15 plus 7.5 plus 27.5, how much it is? Almost 50, but the limit is 50%. Now EWS 50 plus 10, 60 it became. Actually OBC 27 only. 27 plus 7.5 plus 15, 49.5. So what is the limit? 50, 49.5 within the limit. But now because of 10% it reached 59.5. Whether it is not breaking the judgment given by Indra Sahani judgment. Indra Sahani judgment, the cap is 50% reservation only. Then the same judgment told that 50, understand this, that 50% cap is only for SC, ST, OBCs. These 3 category people should not cross 50%. SC, ST, OBC, these 3 together, put together, should not cross 50%. EWS is altogether new. Altogether new, they will not come under this 50%, so that 10% reservation is constitutionally. EWS quota, what I told, the same EBC reservation, poorest of the poor, not socially and educationally backward from the scope. Further, The majority opinion dismissed the argument that 10% EWS quota would breach the ceiling limit of 50% on reservation, as 50% rule formed in the Indira Sahani judgment was not inflexible. Not inflexible means not inflexible, both cancel flexible, and it also applied only to SC, ST or socially economical backwardness, means OBCs, communities, and not the general category. So that 50% cap is only on SC, ST, OBC. Sir, one more is there, sir. What is that? SEBC is there. SEBC means Muslims who are not part of Hindu social system but socially backward, educationally backward. Christians or Muslims who are not part of OBC, who are not part of SC, who are not part of ST, but they are other religion, like Muslims, like Christians, who are socially backward and educationally backward. For them, the reservation also will be provided. Comes under what name? SC, BC. So this SC, BC, OBC, SC, ST should not cross 50%. This gender will not come under this. So the 10% reservation given to the EWS is valid. Vikram S rocket. Very important point this is. Vikram S rocket. The father of Indian space program is Vikram Sarabhai. The father of Indian space program is Vikram Sarabhai. For the first time in India, a space company in India, in Hyderabad, Skyroot, a private company, a corporate company with the support of ISRO and INSpace. INSpace is an arm of ISRO. INSpace is an arm of ISRO. With the help of ISRO, with the help of INSpace, Skyroot company had came up. A private company had constructed a full-fledged rocket. A private company had constructed a full-fledged rocket. For the first time in the history of India, a private company came up with rocket. So that rocket name is called as Vikram. That rocket name is called as Vikram. A private rocket, Vikram S means Vikram Sarabhai. Vikram S or Vikram rocket, which is a private rocket, which have the capacity to send the payload. Payload means weight. If I am carrying 200 kgs of weight, if I am going into the space, that weight is called as payload. So this rocket is having the payload. If the satellite, almost the satellite weight will be 70-80 kgs. If the satellite weight is 200 kgs, means it will be advanced satellite. So this particular Vikram rocket is having the capacity to launch up to 200 kgs of payload. So advanced satellites can also be launched by this private rocket. Is a single step suborbital launch vehicle. Suborbital launch vehicle can reach the orbit and where it can rotate and it can put the satellites. First ever space launch by a private company. This is the first ever. And aerospace is said to be launched as a part of Prarambh space mission. There is one space mission, understand this. Prarambh space mission. Prarambh space mission means ISRO initiating private people to take up space projects. That project is called as Prarambh. So under Prarambh space mission, ISRO is motivating the private people to take space programs. So what is the benefit for ISRO? The expenditure on the government will come down. And our satellites, when the private people also come into competition, sending of satellites into the space, expenditure will come down. More satellites, private satellites will flow onto the orbits. So people will have easy access to the communication and technology. If only government is there, it is a monopoly, rigid, restricted. If private people also there, what will happen? More services. So that space mission whereby ISRO is motivating the private people or the private players to come up into the space missions is called as Prarambh. So ISRO under Prarambh space mission with the help of a Skyroot private company and INSpace, they had made one rocket, private rocket, which is named as Vikram S. Cu-20 cryogenic engine. We discussed this earlier. Launch vehicle mark. Earlier also it is very much in news nowadays. GSLV, PSLV. If my rocket, launch vehicle is nothing but rocket. Launch vehicle means rocket only. One is GSLV rocket, other is PSLV rocket. GSLV rocket, If I put my satellites into the geostationary orbit, those rockets are called as GSLV rockets. Geostationary launch vehicles. PSLV rockets, polar orbits. If the rocket is placing the orbits into the polar orbits, it is called as PSLV rockets. The specification, the design for PSLV and GSLV is different. If I want to launch only in polar orbits, only weather forecasting can be posed in polar orbits, only weather forecasting satellites. I should manufacture separate launch vehicle called as PSLV. Only this PSLV can launch in polar orbits. If I want to launch in a higher level, 24,000 kilometers from the Earth's surface, geostationary orbit, then I should manufacture separate rocket called as GSLV rocket. But suddenly I want to launch one rocket into polar orbit, but PSLV rocket is not there. Then I have to wait or not? Or I have to reproduce another PSLV rocket or not? Why we should not manufacture one rocket and that rocket will be used for a dual purpose, for GSLV as well as PSLV. That particular rockets are called as launch vehicle Mark III. That particular rockets are called as launch vehicle Mark III. So I no need to wait for PSLV. If I am a PSLV, no need to wait for GSLV. This can go for geostationary, it can go for polar orbits. So that launch vehicle Mark III is using what type of fuel? Cryogenic engine, which is using cryogenic fuel. What is cryogenic? Solid fuel. For example, petrol is there. Petrol is liquid or solid? Liquid. So cryogenic engines, the fuel will be in the solid format. When it in the solid format, if you go to the higher temperature area also, the solid will not melt, so it will be rigid. We can use the soil for more durability. So that engine is called as Cu-20 cryogenic engine, which is used in launch vehicle Mark III. So where this Cu-20 cryogenic engine is in use, this is the engine which is used in launch vehicles, which will be used for PSLV, which is used as an GSLV. Launch vehicle Mark III is previously known as GSLV Mark III. It is the heaviest launch vehicle of ISRO. Now it is launch vehicle, so it can be used for PSLV purpose as well as GSLV purpose. Up to 450 kgs with additional propellant loading. See, 450 kgs means very heavy weight. The satellite weight of 450, if I can carry up to the space into the orbit, means the vehicle is having lot of capacity. 450 kgs of payload, 450 kgs of satellite can be brought into the space. By this, so it is not only used as GSLV, PSLV, its capacity is also Himalayan grey langur. Himalayan grey langur. See why it is important. Endangered. I am teaching means something compulsory current affair might be there. So this current affairs only, compulsory one question will be there, whether endangered or vulnerable or critically endangered. Himalayan grey langur. What are langurs, sir? Langurs, in primates, we have two varieties of primates. One is greater primates, other is lesser primates. Greater primates are who are heavy, like orangutan, gorilla, chimpanzee are called as greater primates or apes. Lesser apes, lesser primates, baboons, gibbons, langurs, baboons, gibbons, langurs, these are called as lesser apes. So one of this is Himalayan grey. A recent study published in journal found that differing elevations of habitation make one group of Himalayan grey langur prefer proof and another group like flower. So within one species, understand this, very different. Within one species only, like human beings, one species of Himalayan langur consume fruits. Within that, one group consume flowers. How it happens? Like within the human beings, one group eat vegetarian, another group eats non-vegetarian. Like human beings. Whereas animals, whatever come across, they have to eat. But within the Himalayan langurs, within one species, two groups evolved. One group is dependent upon flowers, another group is dependent upon fruit. The Himalayan grey langur or the Chamba sacred langur, see, the question can be Himalayan grey langur or Chamba sacred langur. Another name for it, Chamba sacred langur. Widely distributed in the Indian subcontinent, Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, other parts of Pakistan. Mainly it is what? Endangered. Himalayan grey langur. Earlier what we discussed? Snow leopard. What it is? Vulnerable. In Jammu and Kashmir, another species which are not extinct, which are not visible, disappeared, but again revisited, reappeared. Asiatic ibex. Brown bear, Kashmir musk deer. These four are vulnerable. Himalayan grey langur is endangered. Current affairs. Last 10 days, this is the most important things which are there in the news. Crispr technology. What is Crispr technology? I will tell you. What is Crispr technology? In simple language, I will tell you, understand it. Man is made up of organs. Organ is made up of cells. So the building block of organism is cells. In cell, there is nucleus. In nucleus, there is chromosomes. In chromosomes, two things are there. One is gene and DNA. DNA is a physical component. DNA 1, DNA 2, DNA 3, DNA 4, DNA 5, DNA is a physical component. Combination of DNAs is called as gene. Gene is not a physical component. It's a combination of physical components of DNA is called as gene. DNA 1, DNA 2, DNA 3, DNA 4 is called as gene. ATCG for example. ATCG is a DNA structure. That gene will have a function. That gene will have a function. Like what? Skin color. Like what? Hair color. So my hair color is because of that gene. DNA, which is a combination of DNA 1, DNA 2, DNA 3, DNA 4. Or technically called as ATCG. Nitrogenous basis. So this gene is responsible for my skin color. For example, suddenly here or somewhere a white color is coming up. Suddenly here or somewhere a white color type of thing is appearing on my skin. Then I checked my genetical structure. Why? Because I am unable to find what is the mistake. Then I checked my genotype. When I checked my genotype, I will directly go to the skin color. Why? Because what part is affected? My skin color is affected. So I will find the gene where it is responsible for my skin color. I will go to that particular part. Then I will check my gene structure. When I check my gene structure, it should be generally for everyone, it should be ATCG. For me, it is ACCG. Then I found the mistake. That in place of T, it is C. A mutation happened. In place of D, a C happened. Means T became C. Means what? Mutation. A change happened. So this white color which came suddenly appeared, I can make it into grey again. How? By making C into, I will go for this. By using this CRISPR technology, we will go to the targeted DNA part. And we will find the gene of interest, where we have to focus what is the gene where it is responsible for skin color. In that gene of interest, I will study the structure of the DNA. Why? Because combination of DNA is called as gene. So I will check with healthy gene. Healthy gene is ATCG, but this person is ACCG. So the mistake is with CG. So with this CRISPR technology, we will scissor down that C. We will remove that C. In place of C, again we edit and add T. So it becomes ATCG. So in gene editing, in genetical engineering, we use this technology called as CRISPR technology. It's a new technology, CRISPR technology. insert genes. So where we use this is how it functions, I told. So this technology where we are using, cancer is two types. Cancer can be by two types. It is lifestyle disease and genetical disease. Cancer is two. Thalassemia is a cancer. It is a lifestyle disease. If by eating too much of junk foods or improper diet, there is a chance of getting cancer. Cancer is what? Tumor. Unwanted cell is growing is called as cancer. That's it. If unwanted cell is going, it is called as cancer. It can be because of two things, because of lifestyle or because of genetical disease. So in one person the cancer got. So what? Unwanted tumors are coming up. But the duty of immune system is, what is unwanted, this WBC should come and destroy it. The immune system should come and destroy it. But the tumor is growing. That means which is not functioning? Immune system is not functioning. WBCs are not functioning properly. So now in CRISPR technology, what I am doing, I am enriching the immune system. Insert genes that allow immune cells to attack cancer cells. So this immune system, now I am inserting the gene. Why? Because I came to conclusion that that gene which should destroy this tumor is not performing properly. I will remove that gene which is malfunctioning and I will fix proper gene into it. So my immune system will again become functional and this immune system will destroy this tumor. So mainly in treating cancer cells, mainly in treating cancer, we are going to use this CRISPR technology. Clustered, regularly interspaced, short, palindromic gene editing technique has been previously used in humans to remove the specific genes to allow immune system to become more activated against cancer. That is what the conclusion is. This is what the CRISPR technology. So now nowadays cancers are very, very common. Yes, gene editing also used in agriculture. Genetically modified organism crops is also gene editing. Nowadays cancers are very, very common. That too, breast cancer is very, very common nowadays. Out of 10 women, according to the reports, out of 10 women, compulsory 1 woman is suffering with breast cancer. So it's becoming very, very common thing. This is also in the news. This is also in the news. Why? Because India became the president of G20 Summit. Sharm el Sheikh, where the meeting is conducted? Sharm el Sheikh. Where it is located? Sharm el Sheikh is located in Egypt. G20 Summit. 19 countries plus European Union. 19 countries and European Union. When it got established in 1990, there was a huge economic crisis in Southeast Asia and Eastern Asian countries. Mainly Thailand, Singapore, Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. These are the eastern countries and southeastern countries which are suffering economically. Because of the economical crisis which happened in 1990, G20 was being made by the 19 emerging economies. By the 19 emerging and emerged economies plus European Union. These 20 groups or 19 countries and one group came together and established an economic organization. This is an economic organization. It is not a diplomatic organization. It is not a military bloc. It is an economical organization which mainly works for economical growth. In 1999, in the backdrop of financial crisis of late 1990s that affected East Asia, Southeast Asia, the biggest group in all the groups which is having 75% of GDP is from this G20 countries. IMF and the World Banks are the representative agents of this G20. The representatives of the member countries will engage in discussions over food and energy security now, which is happening right now, on food and energy, health partnership for global infrastructure and investment, digital transformation. Digital transformation. The main objective of G20 countries is together we can. Together we can. All the countries, emerging and economic countries, emerging and emerged countries come together for the growth of all the countries which are present in this G20. No money for terror. This is an idea. This is a conference. No money for terror. This type of question, this type of current affairs will be useful for internal security. Prelims also. This conference is initiated by French. It's an initiative initiated by French. No money for terror. You know why Osama bin Laden became that much big global terror leader? Because he had money. He could root the money. He could demand the money. The complete oil companies of Gulf, it might be Oman, Qatar, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, Bahrain, Oman, all the countries he had a control on the governments as well as the private corporates. The Al-Qaeda became that much big network only because he articulated the money. He crowdfunding he did for terror activities. Crowdfunding, sometimes our friend or someone we get hurted, we will do crowdfunding. No. We will ask money from the people, it's called as crowdfunding. So this person, Osama bin Laden, used to do crowdfunding for terror activities. I am going to bomb Twin Towers. Who are going to donors? Come donors. Yes, Twin Towers, yes, I am going to donate. Bomb it, destroy it. That is called as money for terror. So that is the reason we have what? FATWA, Financial Action Task Force. That is also against stopping the funding for terrorism. Where the money is coming from? From money laundering. So if I want to stop it, I have to stop the money laundering. No money for terror is an initiative of French to stop funds. If you want to give best punishment, the best punishment is cut pocket money. Everything will be stopped. People will go for rave parties, people will go for pubs when they have money. Once the money is taken away, again they will come out to the roads. It's all about money. For terror activities also the same. No money for terror. So the third meeting of No Money for Terror conference is held at India. India is hosting the third. Yesterday it happened. India is hosting the third No Money for Terror conference, and the representatives of about 75 countries are expected to attend the conference. The use of crowdfunding platforms to finance terrorist activities and weak control mechanisms of social media platforms is one of the main topics to be discussed at the conference, so that the money can be stopped. For example, what are the associations or organizations established to stop terror funding? FATWA, Financial Action Task Force. Number 2, No Money for Terror. It's an initiative of French. No Money for Terror. Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. You know, when this scheme came, COVID times. By providing what? By giving them free food grains. By giving them 500 rupees. That was the initial program of Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana in COVID times, mainly targeting whom? Migrant laborers. Now, this has been extended. October, November, December. Actually, it is only till September 2022. It extended to another 3 months. Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana extended till December 2022. We started on April 2020. April 2020, the situation was worst. If leg is outside, they used to break the legs. The scheme was introduced at the time when the country was fighting the COVID pandemic to distribute free food grains to the poor and vulnerable sections of the society. 5 kg of food grains are provided per month per unit to Antyodaya eligible household beneficiaries covered under National Food Security. Close to around 80 crore beneficiaries are covered under this. Maximum people got benefit from this. Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Why it is in the news? It's a very good scheme. It really helped, it really supported the migrant laborers. It helped migrant laborers in COVID times. It extended till December 2022. No more extension after December 20. They clearly told December 2022 will be the last for this Pradhana Mantri Garib Kalyan Yojana. Collegium system is under review. Collegium system is under review. According to the Constitution of India, under Article 142, the President will be appointing the Supreme Court and High Court judges and Chief Judges. Appointment. Then the Supreme Court, in the first judge's case, of 1986, the Supreme Court told that President approval is compulsory, President approval is not compulsory. In the first judge's case, we clearly told that it is congruence, means compulsory. It is congruence, compulsory, the President should give his approval. Then second judge's case, it told it is not congruence, it is consultation. With whom? The CGI plus 2 senior judges. Then in third judge's case of 1998, second judge's case 1993, third judge's case 1998, it is consultation with the 4 senior most judges plus CGI. That senior most judge, 4 senior most judges plus CGI together is called as collegium. That collegium will be recommending to the President, and it is not the congruence, it is the consultation, it is the advice which is given by the collegium. The President should abide by the decision given by the collegium. Then we know National Judicial Appointment Commission came, but Supreme Court told that according to Article 51, executive should be separated from judiciary. But in National Judicial Appointment Commission, Prime Minister is there while appointing the judges of Supreme Court. Hence, it is violation of Constitution. NJAC is removed, which is called as fourth judge's case. And recently, 1 week back, Supreme Court told that we are ready to review collegium system. One system, only 1 mark is there on our Supreme Court, 1 mark is there on our High Court, 1 mark is there on our judiciary. That one bad mark is collegium system. But we are unable to find another alternative. We are unable to find another alternative for the appointment of judges. But the Supreme Court told that yes, we know the appointments of judges to the Supreme Court and the appointment of judges to the High Court is opaque, not transparent. We want to create a transparent system, but the best suitable model we are unable to find it, but the search is on. We are ready for review. We are ready for review. Why? Because there should not be a single question, in any appointment there should not be a single question of doubt. Why? Because the judgment itself is a ruling. One judge, one single man judgment is a ruling across the country. Across the country should follow it. So that super powerful post, while appointment, some fraud or some error happened, it questions the very existence of judicial system. The very existence of judicial system will be questioned. So there is a need for a transparent system. The Supreme Court told that we are ready for reviewing it. We are ready for reviewing it. Supreme Court of India recently agreed to list a writ petition to reconsider the collegium system of judicial appointments to the Supreme Court, and we are ready. But they are unable to find the appropriate. This is also you can write in your answer. The Supreme Court is ready for alternative, but they are in the review process. They want to review it. They want to find a suitable and a perfect doctrine of repugnancy. It is also in the news. Doctrine of repugnancy. What is doctrine of repugnancy? See, a issue is there. Issue came for question. So the output, a issue came, but it looked upon in 2 dimensions. When looked upon by 2 dimensions, for example, I will tell you. See, separation of, same example I will tell you, National Judicial Appointment Commission. In this National Judicial Appointment Commission, one big appointment commission will be there, in which there will be a retired CGI, it will be a National Human Rights Commission chairperson will be there, 3 very, very high popular and very ethically strong people will be present with Prime Minister. So the judgments, the decisions of appointment of Supreme Court judges and High Court judges will be taken on majority basis. Now you tell me, CJI is there, example I am telling you. CJI is there, NHRC chairperson member is there, and eminent jurists are there, 3 members, and 6th member is Prime Minister is there. If Prime Minister is executive, so Prime Minister had recommended 1 person, but remaining 5 people are there, no? Remaining 5 people are there, the 5 people might oppose it. For that only presence of Prime Minister, why you cancelled National Judicial Appointments Commission? 2 things I can understand. So we don't have a clear cut appointment body for the Supreme Court judges and High Court judges. So we created a constitutional amendment by 99th Constitutional Amendment Act, and we created National Judicial Appointment Commission. One commission came, transparent body, everything will be, all the decisions will be happening in the camera. But only one person is there, who is Prime Minister. Okay, if he recommended, but remaining people are there, no. The decision will be taken based upon majority, but not accepted. If I talk from here, simply I will tell that Article 51 will tell that there should be separation of judiciary and executive. So when I talk from Article 51 point of view, when I talk from independence of judiciary point of view, my judgment will be different, my judgment will be different. So same thing, if I see from two different eyes, the views will be different. The same thing, if I am positive, a boy and girl are talking, if I am positive, my view will be different. If I am negative, a boy and girl is talking, the view will be different. The doctrine of repugnancy is basically two pieces of legislation have a conflict between them when are applied to the same facts, but they produce different outcomes or results. The same information is applied, then the views will be different. For example, I am walking on the road. Suddenly police come and catch me and took. Number one, here Armed Forces Special Powers Act 1956 is applied. So you put inside the, as you broke it, you are walking on the road where there is Armed Forces Special Powers Act. One version, accepted. Why? Because AFSPA is applied. Second version, my right to life and liberty got compromised. How you can take me? Whether I have any weapons? No. Whether I am with four people? No. I am alone, I am walking. How dare you to touch me? Right to life and liberty. The same issue, when it is questioned, it will be having different outputs based upon the different backgrounds. When we are on the crossroad, that particular issue is called as doctrine of repugnancy. When seen from fundamental rights point of view, when seen from law point of view. When seen from fundamental rights point of view, when seen from law point of view, the judge will be confused whether I have to accept AFSPA or whether I have to accept right to life and liberty. So that particular issue where the legislation is seen upon the two versions, that particular situation is called as doctrine of repugnancy. When provisions of two laws are so contrary and disconfirmed, it becomes difficult to do one without opposing the other. This is a situation where repugnancy arises. You tell me the best example where the doctrine of repugnancy will be applied when there is a question of fundamental rights and DPSP. When there is a question of fundamental rights and DPSP, I want to go for welfare, I want to go for development, and I am constructing the road. In the constructing of the road, in between your house is there, I need to remove the house, and I went and I am removing the house. You are telling that right to property, you cannot remove my house. So two things are questioned. One is directive principles of state policy, and under directive principles of state policy, welfare of the people is most important for me. But under fundamental rights, right to property is also very important. So whether I should follow DPSP or fundamental rights, whether I have to follow AFSPA or right to life and liberty, whether I have to go with DPSP or fundamental, a question arises. So that particular situation with the judiciary is called as doctrine of repugnancy. Whether I have to go with DPSP or whether I have to go with successfully established doctrine of repugnancy. If any part of state law is repugnant or conflicting to any part of central law which the parliament is competent to enact, or any part of the law, means simple, AFSPA or fundamental right or DPSP. Cinema theatre, I have to stand when Janagana Mana is being played. Two things, I have to stand up. It's a fundamental duty. No law is there. No law, nowhere it is written. It is not written in the constitution, there is no law also. But everyone is standing, so we will stand up. Fundamental duty, respect to the national flag, number one. Number two, violation of right to life and liberty also. I don't want to stand. Why? Because it is not a law, it is not a constitutional law. Then why I have to stand? If I want to stand, make a law. But it is not a law. It is just an obligation, it is just a GO, government order, so people are following it. So two questions came up. Conflict between fundamental right and fundamental duty, what we have to follow. It's a very good judgment. Now I am the Supreme Court Chief Justice. Question came, a very intelligent person. I don't want to stand. Whether law is there, not there, whether it is written in the Constitution, not written, then why I have to stand? No, you have to stand. Why I have to stand? So if the Supreme Court judge, if we give a judgment, it will become the ruling. Everyone will follow the same. So that particular situation is called as doctrine of repugnancy. Yes, correct, Durga. Doctrine of repugnancy. Carbon border tax. Carbon border tax. This is in the news now. Conference of Parties 27, COP 27. Carbon border tax in simple language. A capital good. Mainly the tax is imposed on capital good. Capital good means heavy machines. Heavy machineries are called as capital goods. I buy a capital good from China. In India, it is not manufactured. It is manufactured in China. So I bought it from China or any other country. It came to India. My industry is there. I established. I am giving employment to the people also. I am paying the tax properly. It's a very big industry. Now a new tax is added to it. Already I am paying a lot of tax. A new tax is added to it. What is that? A good is coming. Capital good. So that good will produce goods here. That capital good will, that machinery will produce goods here. That machinery will produce goods here. So that machinery came. It started here. It is manufacturing vehicles. It is manufacturing vehicles. Two-wheelers it is manufacturing. Obviously, because of manufacturing of two-wheelers, whether air will be polluted or not. Air will be polluted. Or car manufacturing, capital good. Or auto manufacturing or tractor manufacturing, capital good came. A heavy machinery came. So, because of that machinery coming into our country, in our country, if the carbon emissions are increasing, in our country, the carbon emissions are increasing, on that capital good which is coming in the process of import, I will be levying a import duty. It is called as carbon border tax. Carbon border tax. For example, a relative is coming into our home. Because of the relative coming into our home, compulsory will create a conflict here. But it is inevitable that I cannot stop him. Two conditions. I cannot stop him. If I stop him, my mother will ask, why you stopped him? So I have to bring him. I brought him. As I brought him, here the conflict started. So some cost is there here. Then what I will do, as you are coming, something will happen here. What you do, you take this 1,000 rupees and go in, stay in the hotel. Rather than creating a conflict, you want to stay only, in a 5-star hotel you go and stay. Rather than having a fighting in the home, you can stay somewhere else. That extra tax which I am paying so that my environment will not be disturbed in the local conditions is called as carbon border. The machinery is coming, so the tax which is extra tax which I am paying on that good, because of which it is emitting carbon emissions in our country, that particular tax is called as carbon border. A carbon border adjustment tax is a duty on imports. Imports means coming. We are paying money and the good we are taking. Imports. Based on the amount of carbon emissions resulting from the production of the product in ocean. Here the product which is coming out, that product is generating carbon emissions. As a price on carbon, as it is producing carbon, it discourages emissions. As a trade related measure, it affects production and exports. India is against it. China is against it. Already economy is not performing because of COVID. Industries are not performing, and you want to impose this carbon border tax. Then they will not put investment only. They will not come up with industry only. This is a proposal of European Union. India is telling that you are already developed. You already have enough resources. You already have enough industries. Now you don't want machinery, but we want machinery. Why? Because we are developing. So you are imposing tax on us. You are imposing on our machinery. India is opposing it. That is called as carbon border tax. Another, black honey bee. Just you remember, this is a new honeybee which we found, discovered, we can tell, we discovered it. A new species of endemic honeybee has been discovered in Western Ghats. Remember this. Indian black honeybee, Western Ghats. The marks the discovery of a new species of honeybee in the Western Ghats after a gap of more than 200 years. We discovered after 200 years. Where? In Western Ghats. New black honeybee. Yes. Where it is found? In Western Ghats, Nilgiri Hills it is found. Black honeybee. Endemic to Western Ghats. After 200 years we discovered it. It is nowhere found in the world, only in Western Ghats. We thought it got extinct, again we found it. India, black honeybee. Any doubts? These are the most important current affairs. Very selectively. Don't read too much also. Selectively what is important, you have to find it. After finding it, you have to read it. Carbon border tax is against ease of doing business. The people will not invest. The people will not come up. When the taxes are heavy, people will not work more, People will get burdened. How much I am working just to directly pay the tax to the government? Why? Just I will also sit simply. The people will behave. The tax should be broadened. The tax should not be high. Because of this multiple taxes, what will happen? The tax rate will increase. Economical, socially, educationally backward. Socially, educationally. Socially means Dalits. Who are caste-wise, they are backward. Educationally means the literacy rate is less. But EWS are not socially backward, not educationally backward. Just their income is less. So reservations, Supreme Court told in Indra Sahani case that the reservation should be provided mainly based upon social backwardness and educational backwardness. But for the first time they gave the reservations on economical backwardness. Supreme Court supported it. I will give this PDF. Okay. Thank you.